Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the DMT KR3 road cycling shoes. Marketed as light, comfortable, and fast full knit road cycling shoes, the KR3 are DMT's mid-level offering. They utilize DMT's distinctive full knit upper construction, but offer Italian design and performance at a more affordable price point. Now, packaging is quite bright. You have DMT's distinctive orange coloring on the entire cardboard box, DMT branding on the side, really nice quote on top that success comes from taking care of every last detail. And then you can see the shoe we have here today is the white-black variation. Sizing here is quite specific to DMT. Being an Italian shoe, you do need to be careful. I highly recommend looking at the sizing chart. We have the Euro 43, which is actually a US 9.5. So we'll go ahead and take it out of the box and we'll go over the specs. Now, retail price on this is $299.90, so it's about $100 more than the KR4, which have a nylon sole, but quite a bit more affordable than the KR1s, which can be as much as $500 or more, depending on which edition you pick. These are fully engineered knit upper, so with DMT, all their shoes actually have knit upper constructions. You have a single IP1 BOA Dial for nice precision and control. You have an aerated carbon outsole, so very stiff, and you can see nice large air vents through here with the 3-bolt compatibility, as well as the Look memory cleat, which is a nice thing to see here. It has 8mm rear and back, forward and backward adjustment, so you can really get a nice fit, as well as a replaceable heel pad, which is really nice to see on more premium shoes. In terms of what comes in the box, obviously you get the shoes. Take out the other one. It's a very sleek styling. What's cool here is that you actually get the BOA tool, and that's actually something I haven't seen before. So there's a little wrench here, and that goes through the center of the O of the BOA. So you can almost not see it, but you can actually unscrew that, take the cap off, clean it, replace the lace if you ever needed to. Nice to see here, it's actually a little bit expensive to buy that separately. You get the warranty information. So DMT is an Italian company, and they provide a pretty nice warranty as far as replacement and repair. You get a nice branded DMT bag, and I always like to see these. This is a great way to travel with the shoes. It keeps them clean, and you can also store them. With these, you also get a little zippered pocket on the inside, so this is great for putting socks or other accessories when you're on the road. Inside the bottom, you also get a little information on the memory cleat, and this is something you rarely see. It's a great way to use Look Keo pedals, so we actually have a full video on this I'll link to, but you actually get the bolts for them. So there's little 5mm bolts, and they go down the center and let you replace cleats without losing the position. Now let's take a look at the weight of the KR3 shoes. Again, these are the North American variation and the Euro 43. So if we put just the left shoe, that comes in at 234, so quite light. For comparison, the right shoe is 236, so a very slight variation. Now let's go over the fit and finish of the KR3 shoes. Although the KR3 shoes lack the bling bling of the KR1 Crystal shoes, which actually have crystals embedded in the upper material, they're very sleek and distinctive. They're also one of the most affordable carbon-soled road cycling shoes that DMT currently offers. Now, DMT has really invested in the full knit construction. All their shoes currently have knit construction, and these are the full engineered variation. So it's not a hybrid, it's actually fully engineered, and you can see very flexible. DMT offers these shoes in 3 different color variations, the white and black that you see here. So it's a dual tone, so you have black down the middle and white along the sides, as well as a black variation, which has black and then gray, and as well as a blue color. The blue color is not currently available in the US though. There's very subtle branding on here. You just have DMT on the side. You have little orange DMT accents on here, and that's really their color. And again, DMT in the orange on the back. So they definitely stand out and add a little bit of visibility when you're riding. Otherwise, DMT is simply written on the sole. So very sleek. You have a high contrast glossy heel cup here to provide really good comfort. And otherwise, it's a tongueless design, so you can see it almost looks like a slipper rather than a cycling shoe. So it really wraps around and has this really nice flexible material. The They use a variable thickness knit construction as well as different orientations, so you can actually see that. Depending on where you're looking at the shoe, the knit has been designed to really maximize the performance and reduce the weight. Closure-wise, you have a single BOA dial. This is an IP1, so you get dual direction micro adjustment, which is really nice, so you can tighten it in one direction, loosen it in the other, and then do a full pull up to do a full release. You have a little plastic tab here that helps put these shoes on. With this slipper-like construction, it's a little more, less inconvenient. It's less convenient to put on, as you really have to pull this up and then slide it in, but you can see very elastic. And you can see the front material is also nice and thin, so it won't actually rub against your ankle. You have very good heel support here as well with these little almost rubbery-like material on the inside, and that'll prevent your heel from rising, which is a nice detail and very stiff. But as you tighten this, you can see this will actually pull inward on this nice soft material and really provide a tight fit. In terms of the sole, this is an aerated carbon fiber sole. It actually has this little plastic cover on here, and you can pull that off, and presumably you could put it back on if you needed to prevent if you had colder weather or wet weather conditions. Otherwise, it has a very large air intake here. What's interesting about the sole is that there actually is no toe pad here. Instead, it's designed for the cleat to be your front pad, and then the rear pad is this nice replaceable rubber piece. You can see the two screws here. It's really nice to see a removable piece. That means if you ride these shoes for a few years or do a lot of walking on them, you can always just call DMT, get this replacement for really cheap, and then keep riding with them instead of damaging this nice glossy sole. It's a nice carbon fiber sole as well. And it looks really good, but you definitely want to protect it when you're walking, so it's nice to have the cleat on here as well as the heel pad. What's nice about this is it has this rough material here to hold your cleat in place. Full 8mm adjustability backward and forward with 3-bolt cleat design. And it's great to see the Look memory eyelet on here, the center hole. So with the center hole, you simply leave your cleat on here, bolt that down, and then you can take your cleat off, leaving the little centerpiece, and have the new cleat go exactly in the same spot. I'll link the full video. But really nice to see. Not a lot of shoes don't typically offer that. Otherwise, very nice, soft, comfortable construction. You can see more slipper-like than road cycling shoe. And with the knit design, it goes all the way around and even hides a little toe cap. So a very sleek overall finish. Now let's look at the insoles on the DMT KR3 shoes. They're described as an aerated carbon sole, and you can see it's very ventilated. The whole thing has perforations from front to back. And what's also cool about this is that you have these air channels underneath. So you can see this little groove. That helps really funnel the air through and under while keeping a little gap between your feet and the bottom of the shoes. And that'll help the air that comes in through the front channels really go through and then come all the way to the back. So definitely a nice design, especially for warm weather cycling. Here you can see the KR3 shoes on the road. As you can see, it's a very distinctive style, even though it's only white and black. That one-piece design is quite distinctive, and the contrasting colors are really well placed. We also like the orange DMT logos on there that give it a little splash of color. And overall, good-looking shoes, and with that knitted upper construction, it gives that a nice premium look. You don't have any front toe guards or rear guards. Also, that knit upper construction is very soft. As you can see here, it's very flexible. It's almost a little bit odd to wear compared to other shoes, as there's not much structure there. So as you move your toes up, it actually flexes. And that means the more narrow toe box on here is actually still comfortable. Now on the road, the carbon soles are quite stiff, so good performance shoe. The only downside I would say is that one-piece upper makes it a lot more difficult to put on or take off. And also has a little bit odd of a feel, so when you're sprinting and you lift your toes up, it does stretch, so because of that knit upper construction. Also, the single BOA dial is easy to use, but again, we would have liked to see a dual BOA dial at this price point just for that little extra flexibility. Now let's compare the KR3s with other shoes on the market. What we have here is everything from the budget FLR shoes all the way to the very expensive Scott RC-SLs. Comparing the budget FLR F11s versus the DMT KR3, you can see visually they look similar, except the closure system is different. With the FLR F11, they actually extend it down further than DMT does, but they use an A-top dial. This is a little more affordable dial, similar to the BOA, but you don't have micro relaxing. So you have to do a full release or micro tension. So that's one downside. You can't just loosen it slightly. You have to do a full release. The BOA IP1 dial is definitely a better dial. as you can do micro adjustments in both directions to really dial in that fit. You can also see that the knit upper construction for the DMT is a little bit softer than the FLR and more targeted, where the FLR has these little guards on the heel and toe. That a little bit more bulk, while the DMT is much softer, and it's a tongueless design. So you can see here with the FLR, you have the traditional tongue in the center with the laces pulling it together. With the DMT, you have a distinctive one-piece design that's more slipper-like, so it really wraps around you, and as you tighten it, it kind of folds in. Now, the downside of the $300 DMT shoes is that you don't get a dual BOA Dial system. So with the Vapor S from Bont, this is about a $400 shoe, heat carbon moldable sole, which is a really nice feature you don't typically see. But dual BOA Dials, a similar wraparound design, but you can see where this is more slipper-like. You actually have a full wraparound with the Vapor S, but obviously more expensive. The Shimano is also the RC9 S-Fire is another distinctive shoe. Similar anatomic design, heel cup, a flexible upper. So that's a nice thing. A lot of modern high-performance shoes are very soft, so you don't have those bulky uppers anymore. Same wraparound design, but again, this has an Li2 dual BOA Dial system. So with the DMT1, you'd also get a dual BOA Dial system, which really lets you tune the fit a little bit better. The most expensive shoes we've actually reviewed to date are the Scott RC-SLs. You can see same carbon fiber sole, a non-replaceable heel pad, toe pad, but good ventilation, similar to the DMT. But with these, you have a little more tech. You have the Carpetex upper, lighter weight. These are closer to 500 grams as the Shimanos are, while the DMT KR3 is a little bit closer to the 600 mark. They're both lightweight, and if you're really, as long as you're not a weight weenie, it really doesn't matter. So the DMT, I think, provide a good balance between the more expensive dual dial setups and the more budget shoes. So you get a good balance between the carbon fiber sole instead of the nylon that the FLR has, while still getting the flexibility and ventilation that the full knit upper provides. Now let's go over the scorecard for the DMT KR3 knit shoes. We're going to grade on 4 different categories: design, closures, comfort, and value. Design would give it an A. It has a nice dual color scheme with that fully knit upper one-piece design. It's really distinctive, and even though we'd like to see more color schemes, the tuxedo design with the white and black looks great. Closures would be an A-. It only has a single BOA dial. We would have loved to see a dual zone, dual BOA dial setup just for a little bit more flexibility. Comfort would be an A. It's a very flexible knitted upper construction, so it really lets you stretch out, and even though it is a more narrow toe box than typical shoes, because of that knit upper construction, it flexes. Overall value-wise, we give it A-. These are Italian cycling slippers with that one-piece design. They're very comfortable and they look quite distinct. We would have liked to seen a dual BOA dial at this price point, but nevertheless, as an Italian shoe, I think these give you a lot of value and comfort. Thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at thesweetcyclist. This is The Sweet Cyclist, reminding you to enjoy the ride.